Alright, just a moment. I'm adding something to the redeems real quick. And, really? That's in there. Okay. Hello. Tube. Oh, integrations. There it is. Yeah. Load model. And then we'll give it timer. Or a delay, probably. In milliseconds. Oh, gracious. Let's do minutes to. I don't feel like doing the math. Let's say. That worked. And boop. I'll switch to the quote unquote just chatting screen here for a second. Let's see. Delay, and then it switches back to. Okay, cool. Alright, so there is a new redeem now. Cool. Let's see. Do I? Oh, I need to set the freaking thing with this guy. Otherwise, his contrast gets all blown out. Yeah, that's better. Alright. And boop. Cool. Let me switch over to the regular music. Oh god, it's ER music. Nope. I refuse. Alright. My guy's kind of in the way. I gotta move him from yesterday. Hang on. How about you go like here? Is that better? Yeah, that's probably better. Okay. So, we had a fun time yesterday. If you were able to catch it, we played Super Battle Golf with Starby and with Scylla Arya. That was our first time collabing together as a group. It was actually the first time that those two got to directly interact. I had kind of been the intermediate up until this point with game project stuff back and forth. Long term, I hope to mitigate that necessity, but for right now, that's kind of how that works. Oh, I gotta unplug my mouse. It's cord's getting in the way. There we go. Alright. This should be mostly charged now anyway. Doo-doo-doo-doo. We're gonna have our first ad break here shortly. Oop, I gotta turn the music player back on. There we go. But in the meantime, let me make sure I don't have any compile issues that I'm not currently aware of. Let's see where we stand right now. Cool. Pick it up. Pick it up. Okay, it gets mad about something with the tool, so we do have to work on that. So there's a runtime error, which explains part of why that hasn't worked just yet. Because during the last stream, was setting some stuff up for getting the flashlight animation working, and it wasn't. But that appears to mostly be... There's also something weird going on here with the shortcut indicators here. When they first get equipped on pickup, it's like it has them one over from where they should be. So it probably has something to do, and I'd have to figure out where it's happening, but it probably has something to do with the fact that in Unreal, when you search an array for an object, if it's not found, the result is a -1 integer rather than like the array key, and that's because arrays technically begin at 0. So I bet somewhere I foobarred that in a calculation. So I'll have to figure that out. Because it's like putting them one too far to the right. So like the gun is showing as if it's on the top one, and the flashlight showing as if it is on the right one. Let's see. Equipping this. It does, initially at least, turn on the flashlight when I do that. Which is interesting. It seems to maybe be clearing a record or something. Yeah, so we got... Oh, it's not probably on my other screen. We got these guys. It's angry. Refresh tool light. Function tool light. Okay, so this is where it's mad. Alright, we are going into the ad break. So I will open that up and we will look at it when we come back from ads. Let's see here. About 40 seconds left on the ad break. Oh. Zero's head is getting cut off when I stretch. Alright, we'll bring him down a little bit. Alright. Ads should be over, looks like. So I went ahead and opened that blueprint that's got the problem in it. And so what seems to be happening is it's getting mad at Where is it? Trying to read tool flashlight actor. So it's getting mad. Where is it? Here. Here, would seem like. So what I want to do is I'm going to toggle a breakpoint on here. And what that will do for us is when we run it in the editor, the very first time that particular function fires and hits the node where I placed the breakpoint, it's going to pause everything, which should happen here, right? And bring me in here. And so now, one of the advantages to this feature is I can step through these nodes one at a time and see what information is showing at this point. Now you'll note that these say none, which would in itself potentially be concerning, except for the fact that this has to do with, in most cases, not always, you could in fact have empty values. The node you're on, especially if it's like a determination node, excuse me, like a is valid or a branch, where you're trying to like judge if else on a value. When it's indicating that one, that generally has not determined yet. So it actually hasn't called these most likely yet. So when we step through and you see it did find it's valid, and they're hard to read now, but there are values. So you usually have to step to the next node before you can see if the values were correct. So then it's going to branch down here, which we already know it's doing. We know that because it is getting to this point. So this node, all it's doing is making sure that the current overlay state is for the weapon, or for the tool rather. It is the tool one, right? Yeah, tool overlay state is set to none, indicating that no tool is being used. And then it tries to cast and confirm. And this is partially because there could be other tools. So I'm trying to confirm, is it the flashlight? And eventually, once there are other tools, I'll probably condense this into a single function to kind of clean things up. But for right now, it's checking, is it a flashlight? And it is. We know it will be because it gets here. But it's going to boop up here. Right, so we're here. Now, here's the interesting thing, is it's looking for this actor, which should have already been set. And that may be the problem. Let's see. Yeah, it's not valid, so then it tries to spawn one. Okay. Does it succeed? It seems like it succeeds, which is fine. That's why this is here. Tool flashlight actor gets set, which is fine. And then it attaches to component, which is also fine. It's held tool attach socket. I think that's probably wrong. But that shouldn't matter so much at the moment. And it makes sure that it's visible. Now this is supposed to be making sure that the flashlight is visible. Which is this guy. But specifically checking. Okay. You know what? This is... Where is it? It's checking the default scene root of that guy, which is not what I want. It should be checking that of the light actor, which is here, and making sure that there's visibility on this guy. Um, that's probably at least one thing that's wrong here, but we'll see. And then propagate to the children. We can probably... Oh, you know what? This isn't necessary, per se, but let's condense this down a little bit. Because after this, they all do basically the same thing, and they're relying on this being set. So that should be, it should be fine to do it that way. I am wondering why this wouldn't already be set at this point. Refresh tool light, event graph, cast. Interesting. Okay. We're never getting to this point, though, so I assume that has something to do with this guy not being enabled here. We'll put a breakpoint there. This is only for clearing things out. Which should only happen if the cast to flashlight fails at this state. So why... I guess we need to do... during begin play, we should try to get the tool light. Enable changed. I guess we could do it like this, because one thing that could be causing a problem, at least causing these runtime errors, is we're doing it as a validated get, and it tends not to like that kind of thing. But if we do it as... It's not causing any crashes, but I worry that it could potentially. And if nothing else, it's throwing a bunch of errors in the log that aren't necessarily errors, because depending on the exact timing, it may be true that those things don't exist. But if we do it like this, and then get okay. Oh, it's mad. There we go. hold on. Hold on. We need... I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Right, hang on. I might have been doing a dumb. We want to spawn this guy. Off of here. I think we would want the relative location. But maybe we could do socket transform. And do it like this. So that it spawns it nearby. Doing a relative, so maybe actor. Not sure on that one. Let's see what this results in. Okay, we actually made it this far, which is new. Okay. Well, oh, I added that after the fact. All right, sorry. And then, so it knows that it's not there. It's going to try to handle the event. Show pickup widget. All right, so it made it this far. I don't need to be watching these values. Did you stop? There it is. Okay, goes through. Cool, that's all fine and dandy. We don't know if this, no, well, it's defaulting to false right now, I think. Let's see. Okay, so it does this, but we're still doing this stuff. We're trying to spawn. We have a transform. All right. Valid object. It's getting set to the actor. It's getting attached. the component by the socket. And we're setting the visibility of the light actor if the tool is enabled. Okay. I don't see where it's like allowing me to turn it on or anything yet. So it may not know that it's there, but it also doesn't appear to be triggering errors right now. Yeah, of course. Oh, it is still possibly mad about something. Message log, I think, just opened up. In this case, we hit a cast. Oh, because that's fine. All right, cool. Yeah, we unequipped it. That's expected. Oh, ooh. Well, we unequipped the pistol, and it still triggered that. Okay. That actually makes a good bit of sense. We don't want to do anything when we're dealing with anything that is not a tool in this case. I mean, if the weapon ended up being two-handed, we probably would want to. So that might be something that I need to oops, account for in here. So I tell you what, cast, oops. Cast 2 MP. Was it not an MP? Let's just do cast to weapon. Oh, right, because it's not a C++ thing. Okay, so if it's a weapon, we'll cast here because we want to determine. And if cast failed, we'll just return. In fact, we'll return off this one as well. It technically will do that anyway, but just for the sake of quick visibility. And then weapon. Did I add something in here for I think I added something in here for telling how it was functioning, like if it's a two-handed or not. Stance type, I believe. Yeah. Let's just do a switch. Be the easiest. And our tools are in the left hand. So, in that case, we will only run a clear for right hand, for two-handed, I don't really expect anything to be throwing in the right hand, but we'll do it that way. And otherwise, they will just return. That should keep us from clearing, because that could have been part of our problem, as we were probably clearing things without needing to. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, that's all fine. To be expected. It's creating the first one. Cool. Doesn't seem like it's doing anything yet, which is fine. Now, I just unequipped the pistol. What? Oh, if the equipped item is not valid, I'm clearing tool light too? That could be a problem. Okay, if we're clearing that, we would almost need to know which item was removed. I don't think I have a means of doing that. Now, on the one hand, we could say if it's not valid, don't do anything. Right? Because we're not clearing it inherently. What we could do then is we do have this, which tells us if it's true or false, if it's getting equipped. And at that point, I got an idea. Can we pass this? I have to add an input. Equip. What I would be curious to see is what is it passing when it does that? I suppose what I could do equipment, no, Right. Let's get the inventory component. Inventory component. Words are hard. Can I? Not really. Okay. So I don't have anything really for that. So then let's just say equipment. Find we'll just do this. I know, at least in the context of this game project, that I've set my equipment slots in here. So tool is index 2. What we can check from here then is slot empty. I could probably create a function that does this. Otherwise, we'll just do like that. That should work fine. Yeah. I guess to confirm. Oh, hang on. Equals tool. Let's do this as and. And then if false on this guy. If empty and tool is true, clear tool light. Right? No. Yeah. Because the item's already equipped. So it would unequipped, so it should be empty at that point. And then boop. Thank you, dear. Oh, hydrate. Oh, well, that was convenient because I was just brought a drink. Thank you for the hydrate, Redeem. All right. So let's see here. I had to mute because I was being spoken to. Let's see. We're gonna tell this is. You want to know where it is, so a comp tool character visuals refresh tool light found slot was not tool slot. Okay. Let's see how that does. Alright, this is to be expected. It's not going to find it. We go up here. Equip is true. Item, at this point it is actually telling us the item is flashlight. So we could actually do something with that. World context, that's all fine. I don't care about any of that. That's adding the stuff to shortcut. We can just hit play. Okay, gets here. Equips true. So it didn't need to evaluate this guy, so it's going to be false anyway. It didn't have to evaluate it. That actually probably means that we don't really need to get the equipped item because in theory it is returning the correct value. Okay, we're getting up in here. It did find that the equipped item is valid. It's checking, or it's setting the overlay state, so it is checking a tool. That's going to succeed, true. Alright, it's going to spawn the tool mesh, which is all good, and set the visibility. Which is, that part has been kind of more or less working so far. The issue has been when we unequipped the pistol. Oh, it's mad about something. And it unequipped both of them for some reason. Well, visually anyway. Let's see. Okay. Flashlight's equipped. Equip pistol. Oh, I wasn't clicking. I didn't have the editor pulled up. Interesting that it gets an error on when the pistol is interacted with still. And that causes it to clear the flashlight. Okay. Why? You're getting it here? I guess because when it's like the weapon, it's still trying to do something? Interesting. me see. Equipped, that's all fine. Alright. When I unequip the pistol, it triggers an error, but it doesn't trigger a breakpoint, meaning wherever that's happening, here. I guess if we'll just have to end it there for the moment. I don't know that there's anything specific we need to have it do if that's not valid. Other than maybe print a log. Okay, so now that was unequipping the pistol and re-equipping it, which seems to be fine. Or sorry, the flashlight. The pistol is still clearing it. We're on an ad break. Alright, so pistol's still clearing it. Apply to that message. I think we are back from ads. Yep, sure looks like it. Yep, we are back from ads. All right, cool. So, it is not throwing the error anymore, but it is still clearing it. So we need to look back over. But it also doesn't trigger a breakpoint during the clear process. So I have to assume it's still happening in here. All right, if that's the case, let's toggle a breakpoint here. Because then every time the equip function fires, regardless of the reason, notably this one didn't fire, which is a little strange. It's firing now. Probably just an order of operations situation. The initial equip is not really the problem, though. Okay, so when this happens, equip is true, and this was me changing the flashlight. Well, equip is actually false. Item is still flashlight. So that actually might be useful if that retains that information. That actually is useful to know. Because if it's retaining what was unequipped in that way, then we can work with that. Seems like it. Let's see what it does when I do the pistol. Okay. There's definitely an issue with how it is passing that information. I assume I assume it has something to do with like the last item equipped. That's weird. Pistol still clears it, but only the mesh, because the tool isn't getting removed. It's still there under equipment info. Okay, so let's step through it. Step. Step. Okay. It's not paused anymore. Unless it's on the weapon side that's clearing the meshes. could make some sense. Pistol, clear. What? Go back. Oh, because of the delay. Step next node to be executed. I guess because it hasn't completed yet. Okay, I have to assume that maybe it's hitting here, and I'm confused myself on that stuff. Okay, so it hits here. Where does it go from here? It's hitting here. Interesting, which is where I would expect it to go, but shouldn't result in it clearing. Yeah, you should just return, which should mean that this guy is not responsible. It's not triggering a clear tool light. So what is? Is it on the weapon side? I guess it must be. Oh, is it this? Okay. So then, pistol. Oop. False. Oh, delay until next tick. That should be fine. This is gonna execute. So the tool stuff kind of happens at that point. And this ticks, which is fine. Unequip all items of type. That could potentially be the problem, but it should only be clearing items that are weapons. Toggle. Okay. Item type is still weapon. Weird. Is object valid? Weapon. What? No debug data. I wonder if it's in this function that it's causing the problem. Why would there not be any debug data for that? That's weird. It must have something to do with the server method, I'm assuming. That's a little trickier, because that's... If unequipping... Interesting. But the thing is that if the passed item type, which we're passing weapon, if weapon did not match this item type coming out of here, then it should never hit this. So it's got to potentially be happening in the server, this function here, which components, okay. It just checks if it's valid. And if the get equipped item equals item, then it returns this guy. Interesting. This probably has to do with them sort of using the same system, but even ignoring the unequipped issue, it still isn't playing animation or anything. I'm setting the overlay. Candle tool enabled changed event. One tool enabled, which should be happening here, yeah. Why is the flashlight, when it is equipped, not turning on? Or playing the animation or any of that stuff? Is the real question. Oh, it's because I was hitting the wrong frickin' button, is why. Not what I meant to do. I forgot what I bound that to. Oh, snap. Okay. It's not correct, but but it's a thing. Alright. And there's some shenanigans happening with the animation. That's nightmare fuel. But it is a thing. Oh, that's weird. I'm having to hold it down to make that work. So when that's toggled. Toggle flashlight. Oh, well, part of it is because it never unsets it. So probably here. Actually, you know what we could do? Do a select on this? Change this to a Boolean. And then this toggles the flashlight. Okay, that's weird. Why is that a thing I have to do? Also, it probably is stopping, I assume, because it's defaulting to trying to use a battery system, which I set up but didn't really have any permanent intentions of using. Very funny. Nothing disconnected, though. So it's funny that USB disconnect's actually a little bit louder than what the system audio sounds like. So did not fool me. The enhanced input stuff is really kind of annoying. I'm confused as to why. Because, like, the reloading one is fine. What is the problem here? It's got something to do with the... Ah, crap. It's gonna try to open things. Let's see. It's gotta have something to do with in here, I assume. Set light actor on. Which is fine. We're just setting those values. And I don't do anything there. Oh, why does need battery set to true? That's probably part of the issue. It's trying to use batteries on the flashlight, then, I assume. I should be able to set those here. On the light actor. Here. Oh, wait. Hold on. Not that. No. Does not need batteries. Maybe that's part of the issue. Alright. It's a little annoying that I'm having to hold it. It's also not shining even remotely in the right direction. Very interesting. Let me show traces. That's weird. That probably has to do with like the relative rotation or something. Let's see how well that even illuminates this room. Oh wow, it is dark dark. Okay, cool. Interesting though. It's weird that I have to hold it down. That's probably got something to do with the input thingies. I'm gonna assume that some of this is the problem. Let's try world, and let's also triggered. I guess I could just run it off completed. Does that make a difference? I don't think it should. Whoa. What was that? Is there a light actor? Oh, it's there. It's okay. So that's a thing. This might be working though, as far as the toggle part goes. So then, component maybe. Hey, that's correct, actually, based on the way it's pointing. It's not the way it needs to work, but the way it's in his hand, that is, I think, correct. So I just need to get it to be positioned in the hand correctly. Okay, cool. The question is, did I get it using, oh dear. Yeah, okay. Pitch, yaw. Let's try 90 degrees on the yaw and see where that puts it. And then we're gonna have an ad break in like a minute or two. Okay, it didn't actually move it at all. So we need the mesh to rotate. New object. Okay, so what we might need to do unequip. Might have to modify this guy. Oh, we're gonna go into an ad break. Let's see. That's part of the base info struct. Yeah. Let me check something here. I need to switch over to the face cam for a second so I can check on something. Okay. We're all good. Okay, so we need to find let's see. Here's the resolve visual data. And we want to looking for visual transform. Okay. So after that, we want F rotator base rotation offset. Offset equals F rotator 0 rotator, and then a bool B has base rotation offset false. That's good. We're looking for base info pointer and base info structure type, but we're gonna need, because we were already using this name value by pretext stuff, so gonna have to have one of these guys. Because we don't have one for a rotator. No, stop it. Constant u struct type constant void container constant string, and it's going to be our prefix, and then we need F rotator and out value. And then okay, constant F struct property equals find struct property by prefix. Yes, that suggestion looks correct. What is this man about? Oh, because we don't have a return statement on it. If no struct property or no container or struct property struct does not equal the T base structure It needs to be that. Rotator, get, yep. Return false, that's good. Constant. Let's see, is that auto suggestion correct? Let's see. Container value to pointer value f rotator container value pointer if value pointer out value. Yeah, that actually. Oh, I hit the wrong button. All right. That's what I want right there. Yep. And then if. Okay, so with that guy, we can then, where was it? Where were we adding the other stuff at? It was in here. Base info pointer, base info struct type. Has base rotation offset. Equals get rotator value by prefix base info struct type base info pointer text base rotation offset. No, it just should just be rotation offset. And then let's see, transform. There's transform. This is overlay state read, so we want to put. So after the initial transform stuff, we then need to see if has rotation offset, because it's already initially spawned it, and now it's checking to see if it needs to make changes. Base rotation offset is nearly 0. Basically saying if it's basically not almost 0, which in this case I think it comes down to like a fraction. It's like a tolerance thing. So it's not basically as long as it's not 0, and as long as it has the offset, then it's going to use this. Out transform set rotation. Out transform. I'll try and make that more legible, but that's whatever. Let me go ahead and just put the closing on this guy. Out transform get rotation and this is going to be base, not best, base rotation offset. Quaternions. I hate quaternions. And get normalized. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so this should work. However, I don't think we're going to be able to live compile this. I think we're going to have to close the engine, compile, and restart. I've never really gotten live coding to work. We will see. let's see what happens. Even when like it builds successfully, I've never been able to get this to work. It inevitably requires me to back it out. Because like it'll build, but then the thing I changed won't take effect. So we'll see. It's mad about something. Page file. Doing it this way should mean that each tool in the tool data table could be uniquely positioned based on its design. Because otherwise, it would be very fixed. But this way, if they need to be different, they can be. They can just be uniquely set. I'm not sure if I'm actually waiting on it to do something, or... Let me see. Memory intensive program. What do you mean? I mean, you would assume that OBS or something is interfering, but I don't run OBS on this computer, so... Total page... I guess maybe a VTube Studio wasn't open. Does this mean it's just easier for me to kill it and... Fine. We'll just kill it. Wait for it to indicate that it's disconnected. Hey, what's really fun, because I've already got it sort of integrated into Steam, and it actually has seemed to have issues stopping the Steam process for whatever reason. I don't think anybody will ever beat me on playtime for this. 2,400 hours already. Because it runs in the background when the editor's open. So, that's fun. Alright. I think it's done. Yeah, it's disconnected now. Build from editor. It's a little janky though. It seems to think it's still running. And it definitely is not. Let me check my task manager. No? There's no Steam session for it, or there's no process called onemanspoison that's running. So there must be an Unreal process somewhere that isn't closing out properly, would be my guess. None of that. Let me see, is there still an Unreal process open? Command Deck app, that's part of... Yeah, that's part of my Stream Deck stuff. I don't know. Interesting. Okay, it's still building. So... Oh! Thank you for hanging out. Glad you enjoyed it, even if we didn't do a whole lot in terms of actual progress. Have a good rest of your evening or day, whatever your time zone may be. Yeah, why is that like that? That's weird. It still seems to be having some kind of issue with building. You're building locally. Why are you having problems? Alright, cancel. Hold on. Let me Let me look at something. What's high memory usage? I mean, writer, but that's to be expected. Writer in Chrome, basically. Yeah, writer and Chrome are like the main thing. Oh, well, there's a jet writer backend thing that's using like 7 gigs of memory for some reason. Let's try to build again and see what's going on with that. I've never had to do that outside of... I've never had the UBA session thing come up before. That's weird. Okay. Alright. Hang on. Let me poke around on my disk space here. Okay. Excuse me. Let's see. Did I just disable the UBA session server? So I need to find in the app data directory. roaming. Unreal. Build tool. Build configuration. Edit with Notepad++. Alright, let's try that then. See if that works or not. See if it still tries to use the build server. Excuse you, I told you no. On that. There's fucking 36 gigs of memory available to you. Settle the fuck down. I guess I should look in the compiler, see if it's checking for a different directory. Okay. That doesn't appear to turn up in this, which is strange. This was never a problem before. Why is it a problem now? This looks like it was something introduced in 5.5, but I'm not on 5.6 and have been for a while. Oh, maybe. Hang on. Maybe there's a process I need to kill. not seeing anything. Build. Nope. Not seeing any processes. I guess I could kill the writer instance and let that come back. Maybe rebooting writer will refresh whatever config file was loaded. I will note that this no longer thinks it's running. So writer clearly has some issue. What it could be, because I haven't always done this, is writer has the ability to open an Unreal project from the U project file instead of the SLN. And I'm wondering if that's part of that problem. Makes it use more memory or something. But like it'll suggest that you open from that, so I don't know. Give it a minute to fully open. We're gonna have an ad break soon. Okay, it's still loading. Yeah, see, there's this, the U project mode. I told it not to show it again, and I think I made it mad. Did that cause the whole thing to hitch? Hold on. Are we frozen? Maybe. Possibly. Not. VTuber's frozen. Oh, here we go. We're back. It did not like me telling it not to do that anymore. See. All right, we are back from the ad break. I kind of wanted to wait for these to finish before I try to build. They don't really give progress estimates. Alright, I think it's probably fine for me to run the build now, maybe. No, it's still trying to build this plugin. Which, I hate that it does that every time. It doesn't, there's no reason for it to be trying to do that. Alright, you gonna finish with this at any point in time? Honestly, it's probably gonna do that forever. Let's just try to do the regular build and see what happens. Out of curiosity. Yeah, so it's not free. It must be the U project file that, like, when I open it that way, it must open just enough of the engine to trigger that. I bet the live coding works if I'm not opened in new project mode. Which would be hilarious. It does look like it's building, so that's good. I'm gonna switch over to the face cam for a second. I need to check something. Okay. Yeah, it is. It does look like it's actually compiling. So, it's got some warnings in it that it's not happy about something. Build succeeded. Cool. There it goes. All right, it was taking its time. Okay, it's in the 70 percentile here. It should be ready to open soon. Surely it'll be ready to open here soon. It's getting mad about something over there. Alright, it's got to set up Python and then a couple of things here and it'll be open. If everything I added to the code works first try, which is a strong ask, then we should be able to hit play and see some form of difference in the position of the flashlight mesh. It may not be correct, but we should see some difference because I had already updated the data table to put a 90-degree offset on the yaw, I believe it was. So it should have some difference from what it had before if the code works as intended. If we see no difference, then I have a bigger problem on my hands. Alright. There it goes. I was gonna say. New plugins are available. What do you want about? Yes to that. Okay. Let's see what happens. We should be able to play it immediately. May take it a minute. Alright, cool. Pick up. Pick up. Hey, so... Alright. It's behind him. But it is there. So it's pointing in the wrong direction. Cool. Alright. So that probably needs to be -90. Yay! Alright, so the hand animation is wrong, but... And the position on the socket is still off. That is not a very bright flashlight, though. Alright. Let's see then. Defaults. Intensity. Let's double it. And some of it may be that we have to create some sort of like light fall off to make it a little less oppressive, but let's see. I'll be honest, that doesn't seem really any better. So definitely probably have to work out some specifics with that. Also, whatever the hell's going on with this animation. I think that's my other arm right now. Yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah, may have to... I would like to get it where he kind of leads his look with the flashlight. That's... neither here nor there at the moment. Okay. You know what? I set that there, but really it needed to be set here. Let's see if that makes a difference. Doesn't initially look any brighter. That is so dark. Yeah, I think it's almost like I'm gonna have to create... I don't think that really changed anything, to be honest. I assume there's gonna have to be some adjustments here. Like... Take light brightness from IS profile. I mean, that's one of the lighter profiles in here. Maybe I could up the radius for the attenuation. It lights up more of the hallway. I almost wonder if I need to set a light on the camera whenever this is done to, like, I don't know, it feels like not enough light bounces around the room correctly. Hey, Fruitsy. I'm playing with flashlights. Yeah, this is dark, and it does not light up. There's not enough like ambient light from it. I mean, I suppose on one hand, that's probably more realistic, but that's not necessarily the winning formula there. So maybe the goal needs to be that I put a light on the camera that turns on when the flashlight's on. Or, I mean, I guess it would also help if there was a light source in here at all. I suppose part of the problem is I've basically told it that it doesn't have a light, like there's no light source. These are off. So yeah, like these are just off. I wonder, I may have to look into like light physics to figure that out a little better, like how that should behave. But it does work. It equips. The animations aren't right, and the hand does weird things. Positioning's still a little off. I would say did I set any kind of hang on. I was messing with the other rotation, but did I actually set anything for that transform stuff? No, seemingly not. So maybe I could go into the code and change that guy. Change the info struct stuff for the offsets. Oh, see, I also had tool visual in here. This is where I had too many things doubled up, clearly. Oh, hold on. No, that's wrong. Or make it angry. Maybe I was pulling from here. If this is right, then it should result in the flashlight position being wrong. Because the 2 should zero out. Yeah, okay. Cool. So the offset doesn't really need to happen here. As nice as it is to have that. No, don't you dare. That should be happening here. Which then means let's give it... what are the X... what's coordinate-wise? Should be based on the x-coordinate, he said, non-committally. So, what if we do by, like, 10? That's actually... If the hand was animated, right, that would actually be looking pretty good. It's pointing a little downward for my liking. And of course, the fingers are kind of doing a thing. But if the hand animation were working... we're in an ad break. The question is, what does it do right now if I put the pistol away and then try to aim? There's some issues. Interesting. Okay, let's see. It has some weirdness. It had some weirdness. Let's see. Because if I do this, right, that works. If I take this out, of course the animation does weird things. That's fine, I can fix that. But here's the interesting thing. It still seems to be getting affected by putting the pistol away. Which is strange. And then we can't toggle it. Until we take it away and put it back. So now we can get it back out. Sure. But then the animation for that is weird, even though the pistol's not equipped. So that may have something to do with the animation itself. Yeah, so it's still being affected when the pistol comes out. Interesting. But that seems to have at least got the flashlight turning on and equipping. But why is it clearing the visuals? Because as far as I could tell, the same is not happening when I clear the visuals of the tools. So if I take off the flashlight, it is not taking away the pistol. The pistol is still taking away the flashlight. So, and then there seems to be some issue with the spawn of that. There it goes. Weird. Weird. Oh no, I was going to say, oh, opening the inventory got rid of it, but it didn't. It was just brightly illuminated. How does this behave in here? It does actually reflect, which is interesting. Oh, that's cool. Not even something I intentionally did, but it is actually creating lens flares. Those appear to be lens flares from those light sources. I guess that makes sense. Those are point lights. Okay, so there's an overall brightness problem. Which I guess could be solved, theoretically, by having a low amount of illumination in any room, even if all the lights are off. It's dumb, but it could theoretically work. But I'd prefer to not have to do that. That may take some research. But I would say we made progress. We got the actual flashlight working, quote unquote. So that's seeming pretty good. I'd say that's not bad for 3 hours of work, given that a big chunk of that was things misbehaving in terms of build and build tool. Writer. Let's see what we got going on here. I think given we're at like the 3 hour mark, it hasn't been that long since we had let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I think I need to call it a night. I am tired. We're about 3 hours in, which is about how long I planned to go. It just was timed bad with a ad break. And I will be live tomorrow, or should be live tomorrow, to play video games. Probably try to play more RE9. We shall see. But otherwise, have a good evening.